Cyclone Nisarg likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm as it crosses Maharashtra and South Gujarat coast close to Alibag by afternoon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi takes stock of the cyclone, speaks to Chief Ministers of Gujarat and Maharashtra. Cabinet Secretary chairs meeting of the NCMC. Prime Minister Modi holds telephonic conversation with US President Donald Trump, discusses COVID-19 and other issues. President Trump conveys desire to expand G7 and include India and invites Prime Minister Modi to attend G7 summit. 14 flights scheduled from the Gulf countries under the Vande Bharat mission today. More than 2,200 Indians expected to be repatriated back. More than 57 lakh passengers transported to their home states in 33 days in 4,155 Shramik special trains. And recovery rate of COVID-19 patient increases to 48.07% as 95,526 people cured and discharged. Over 63 lakh people worldwide infected by COVID-19. Death toll surpassed 3,78,000 mark. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. The cyclonic storm Nisarg is very likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm by today afternoon. It is very likely to move northeastwards and cross North Maharashtra and adjoining South Gujarat coast between Harihareshwar and Daman and close to Alibag in Raigad district of Maharashtra during today afternoon as a severe cyclonic storm with a maximum sustained wind speed of 100 to 110 kilometers per hour, gusting to 120 kilometers per hour. After the landfall, severe cyclonic storm is very likely to maintain its cyclonic storm intensity for about 6 hours while moving northeastwards across north-central Maharashtra. The sea condition is very likely to be rough to high over northeast Arabian Sea along and off the South Gujarat coast today. Fishermen are advised not to venture into the sea today. Major damage is expected to thatched houses, power and communication lines, roads, trees and coastal crops. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has already assured all central help to the affected states and asked them to spell out in details the requirements and resources needed to deal with the situation. Well, for more on that story, Tapas Bhattacharya joins us this morning. Tapas, good morning. Tapas, code red in Maharashtra. How would you what are the dangers? This particular tropical cyclone coming in the month of June. Almost after 129 years, we're seeing this kind of a cyclone hit the state of Maharashtra. Having said that, how is code red explained to the people and to the public at large?
You bang on there, Anil, that in the known history of Maharashtra, in fact, of Mumbai, there was no cyclonic storm at this point of time. So this is a first, this is a new experience for the Mumbaikar as well as for Maharashtrian. Now, having said that, there are two things that I like to add right now, and they are breaking in nature. The first is that the cyclonic storm that we were talking about has turned into a severe cyclonic storm. Now, and it is right now at 155 kilometers southwest of Alibag. And the second breaking news that I'm giving you is that from the landfall of the cyclone, severe cyclone Nisarg, is likely to be from 12:30 onwards to 3:30 p.m. So from 12:30 to 3:30, the likely landfall of this severe cyclonic storm Nisarga will take place. We just had a word with IMD. Finally, the crucial eye of the severe cyclonic storm they have found, and as of now, I can tell you it is 70 kilometer in diameter. So that is something that earlier they were unable to, till late night, they were unable to find out what exactly is the eye of the cyclonic storm. But now that it has turned into a severe cyclonic storm, they have found out that the diameter of the eye currently is 70 kilometer, approximately 70 kilometer in range. So there are a couple of pointers that I just gave you. Now coming back to the coded thing that you talk about, when the cyclone started, when the whole yesterday onwards, when the cyclone started, it started with the yellow alert. Now the yellow alert basically says that they actually warn the fishermen. It also talks about the fact that there will be high rainfall, and at some point of region it is expected to be higher than usual. Now with the red warning, basically what it says is that any fishing activity, any activity on the coastal area is halted. Even the ships, the big ships are told to put an anchor and stay where they are. Don't venture out. All the essential, apart from essential services, all other services are halted. In fact, we've been told that electricity, all these places have been cut, keeping in mind that it's residential places are there, and untoward incident can take place. Although the wind speed, as I talk about, as of now, the wind speed is close to 85 to 95 kilometers, gusting to 105. But it is expected that in the next six hours, it is going to touch 100 to 110, gusting to 120 kilometers per hour. So, keeping that in mind, the severity of the storm and the wind speed, all these actions have been taken, and that is the whole idea. Even train as well as road transport is halted in these places where the red alert has been declared. Anil.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us. We'll come back to you for more updates on this particular story, as the landfall is expected somewhere around 12:30 in the afternoon. Staying with the story, a cyclone Nisarga is expected to make a landfall on the shores of Maharashtra and Gujarat today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to the Chief Ministers of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, and the Administrator of Daman, Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Praful Patel, regarding the cyclone situation. He assured all possible support and assistance from the centre. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the people to stay safe and take precautionary measures. He tweeted, took stock of the situation in the wake of a cyclone situation in parts of India's western coast. Praying for everyone's well-being, I urge people to take all possible precautions and safety measures. Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba chaired the second meeting of the National Crisis Management Committee to review the preparedness of states and central ministries and agencies to deal with the cyclonic storm Nisarga. Officers of state governments and union territories appraised the NCMC of preparatory measures taken by them. They also assured that adequate stocks of essential supplies were available with them and that all emergency service were in readiness. Bulk SMS facility provided by Telecom Department was being used to warn residents likely to be affected by the cyclone, and evacuation of people was also underway. Reviewing the preparedness of the states and central agencies, Cabinet Secretary directed that all necessary measures be taken to complete the evacuation of people from low-lying areas in the cyclonic path and ensure the return of all fishermen from the sea. Special efforts may be made to ensure that essential medical services of COVID patients are not disrupted. Agencies were also directed to activate contingency plans to ensure the safety of power, telecommunications, nuclear, chemical, aviation and shipping infrastructure and assets. With the monsoons imminent over the western coast of India, the Western Naval Command has mobilized adequate resources for flood relief, rescue and diving assistance in the event of excessive rainfall and flooding of both urban and rural areas, in coordination with the respective state governments on the western seaboard. In Mumbai, the Maharashtra Naval Area will be on standby with 5 flood rescue teams and 3 diving teams throughout the monsoon season. These teams are stationed at various naval areas across the city to enable an early response over a large area. Similar arrangements have been set up within the Karwar Naval Base, the Goa Naval Base, as well as the Gujarat, Daman and Diu naval areas. The respective area and station commanders are in touch with the state authorities, NDRF and SDRF to be able to respond to a crisis situation in the shortest possible time. With cyclonic storm likely to make a landfall near the Mumbai coast today, the City Fire Brigade has already stationed nearly 90 lifeguards with life-saving equipments at beaches in the city. The fire department is also ready for rescue operations if trees or structures collapse. Here, the Mumbai Fire Brigade can be seen conducting ground coordination drill at Girgaon and other beaches in Mumbai. Well, for more on that story, especially from the Mumbai city, joining us is Shishir Shelara, correspondent there. Shishir, good morning. Shishir, how is Mumbai gearing up for this particular cyclone, and also with regards to COVID-19? How is BKC in particular, because BKC is where patients are there in large numbers. How are these, how is the state administration gearing up to tackle the situation of this cyclone?
Well, absolutely. No, Thomas, this is the first time that Mumbai is going to witness this kind of cyclonic situation almost in the last 100 years. And that's the reason the city and the authorities have taken extra precaution here. And it's not just because of cyclone, but at the same time, the Mumbai is also facing the problem of COVID-19. And that's the reason it's a double whammy situation for the state authorities to tackle both the problems at one time here. Well, obviously, as far as the storm situation is concerned, cyclonic situation is concerned, the state disaster team along with the NDRF has already deployed their teams at the various locations in Mumbai. The cyclone will hit at the Raigad area, which is just a few kilometers from Mumbai coast here. From Haryareshwar, probably the cyclone will start and will have an arrow, will move towards the northward direction, will go towards the Gujarat. That's the reason, be it Sindhudurga district, Ratnagiri district, Raigad district, Mumbai and Palghar. These are the districts which will be affected due to the cyclone. And that's the reason, along with the State Department, the NDRF team have been deployed at all these locations here. Only in Mumbai, if you look at that, more than 3 to 5 teams have been deployed in Mumbai itself. And then 2 or 3 teams are also deployed in Thane and Palghar and Raigad region as well. Well, as far as the main epicenter, if you look at this, the cyclone will hit towards the Palghar region, and that's the reason the Palghar become the more kind of epicenter for the cyclone here. And that's the reason yesterday the NDRF team actually carried out evacuation from the Palghar coast here. People who have been living in shanties there have been shifted to the relief camp. At the same time, various actually field hospitals have been constructed at various locations in this entire belt here. And that's the reason the government have told the authorities that shift those patients who are actually COVID-19 positive patients to the hospitals or permanent structure, so they won't face any problem during the hospitalization. Same things happens in Mumbai also. Mumbai, the Mumbai authority have actually created a makeshift COVID-19 center at the Bandra Kurla complex there. The authorities have been told to take care of that center also, and if possible, the patients can be shifted to the hospitals also, the nearby hospitals, which is KIM and the Kasturba hospital, where the patients can be transferred to these areas for a couple of hours here. Because looking at this point in time, what we've got to know is that the winds are blowing around 13 km per hour, but probably the speed of this wind will increase as soon as it reaches the Mumbai coast. As I told you, it's going to start from the Alibag and will go towards the northward region, towards Palghar.
Shishir, briefly I would like to know what are the do's and don'ts that have been put forward by the BMC for the people of Mumbai in particular?
Well, as far as Mumbai is concerned, the BMC has already given a warning to the people residing to the nearby areas. They have been told not to venture to the sea, especially the fishermen, because most of the fishermen still were fishing outside the deep sea. The BMC have taken help of Coast Guard and have told them that those fishermen stuck inside the deep sea, they have to be brought out to the shore here. So that's the first precaution. Second thing is that there has been announcement at the coastal areas that people should not venture on the sea face, because probably the winds will blow at a faster level. That's the reason it may have a problem for the people residing in this area. Especially the shanties and the temporary structures nearby the Mumbai coast here, especially in Juhu, Versova, these are the areas. People have been told to go to the relief camp, to the permanent structure. The government have already created permanent structure and relief camp to these areas. So the authority, along with the state disaster team and NDRF, actually evacuating people from these areas and taking to the main permanent relief structure.
Okay, we'll leave it there. You take good care of yourself, and a quick update there and a quick information there. You got to dial 1916 for any cyclone related query or concern, and press the button 4 to get updates on the cyclone that's going to hit the city of Mumbai. That's the update that we can give you at our end. We pray that all the people there who are in that line of the landfall today are safe, and the security agencies and the relief and rescue operation teams are doing a great job to evacuate all of you. Moving forward, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation on Tuesday with the US President Donald Trump. President Trump spoke about the US presidency of the Group of Seven and conveyed his desire to expand the ambit of the grouping beyond the existing membership to include other important countries, including India. In this context, he extended an invitation to Prime Minister Modi to attend the next G7 summit to be held in USA. Prime Minister Modi commended President Trump for his creative and far-sighted approach, acknowledging the fact that such an expanded forum would be in keeping with the emerging realities of the post-COVID world. The Prime Minister said that India would be happy to work with the United States and other countries to ensure the success of the proposed summit. Prime Minister Modi expressed concern regarding the ongoing civil disturbance in the United States and conveyed his best wishes for an early resolution to the situation. The two leaders also exchanged views on other topical issues such as COVID-19 situation in the two countries, the situation on the India-China border, and the need for reforms in the World Health Organization. President Trump warmly recalled his visit to India in February this year. Prime Minister Modi said that the visit had been memorable and historic on many accounts and has also added new dimensions to the bilateral relationship between the two countries. The exceptional warmth and candor of the conversation reflected the special nature of the Indo-US ties as well as the friendship and mutual esteem between the two world leaders. Back home, under the Vande Bharat mission, 14 flights are scheduled from the Gulf countries today, carrying more than 2,200 Indians back home. 10 flights are scheduled from the United Arab Emirates. 6 flights will take off from Dubai to Kochi, Kannur, Kozhikode, Tiruchi, Bangalore and Kolkata airports. The flights from Kolkata would be the first one from the UAE. 4 flights from Abu Dhabi will bring back people to Amritsar, Kozhikode, Kochi and Tiruvananthapuram. Doha has 2 flights to Chennai and the capital city of Kerala, while from Muscat people will fly back to Bhubaneswar and Kannur. Priority has been given to distressed workers, stranded tourists, pregnant women, medical emergency cases and senior citizens on their way back. On Tuesday, 2,719 stranded and distressed Indians, including infants, boarded the special flights under the Vande Bharat mission from various Gulf countries to return home. From UAE, nearly 1,800 people were repatriated. Moving from airways to railways, Indian Railways has operated 4,155 Shramik special trains, ferrying more than 57 lakh migrants, including workers, pilgrims, tourists, students and other persons stranded at different places across the country as on June 2nd. The top 5 states from where maximum trains originated are Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. And the top 5 states from where maximum trains terminated are Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha and West Bengal. More than 50 lakh migrants were transported in May alone. In addition to the Shramik special trains, railways are running 15 pairs of special Rajdhani trains from the 12th of May and 100 pairs of special Mail and Express from the 1st of June. It is noteworthy that trains running now are not facing any congestion. A quick look at the latest update on the COVID-19 numbers from across the country. Health Ministry and ICMR held a briefing to update the testing status as well as other information related to COVID-19 in India. According to ICMR, 476 testing labs, including 205 private labs, are functional. On an average, 1,20,000 tests are being conducted daily. The country has sufficient indigenous testing kits. The recovery rate is improving continuously. 3,708 people have recovered in the last 24 hours. That's the number that we're looking at, 3,708. Recovery rate has also increased to 48.07%. The fatality rate in India is very low when you look at world numbers at 2.82%. This is amongst the lowest in the world. Case fatality per lakh stand at 4.1%. 10% of the population accounts for 50% of COVID-linked deaths. 73% of COVID deaths in the country are people with comorbidity. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has reiterated that to prevent COVID-19 in high-risk patients, certain precautions must be taken by them, which includes the following. Continue routine medicines as advised by the doctor in case of pre-existing medical conditions like diabetes, hypertension and cardiovascular diseases. Take immunity boosting measures suggested by the Ministry of Ayush. For example, drinking herbal tea, taking kada, use telemedicines like Sanjeevani. If medical advice is needed, ensure early detection of COVID-19 by using the Arogya Setu app to check if you have come in contact with COVID-19 patients. Self-assess yourself on the app and undertake regular self-monitoring of health. It is advised that if high-risk individuals develop COVID-19 symptoms, they should seek medical guidance either telemedically or through the helpline numbers or visit a doctor physically. Citizens can also contribute in supporting the high-risk group by following simple steps like practicing good hand and respiratory hygiene, avoiding close contact with others if one is showing symptoms, helping those at high risk in daily chores while maintaining social distance, avoiding large groups of people and religious gatherings. It is strongly advised to stay home unless absolutely necessary. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh had a telephonic conversation with the French Minister of Armed Forces, Florence Parly, on Tuesday. They discussed matters of mutual concern, including the COVID-19 situation, regional security, and agreed to strengthen the bilateral defense cooperation between India and France. Both ministers appreciated the efforts made by Armed Forces of India and France in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. France reaffirmed its commitment to ensure the timely delivery of the Rafale aircraft despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Defense Minister welcomed the French chairmanship of the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium from 2020 to 2022. The two ministers agreed to work together to fulfill the India-France joint strategic vision on the Indian Ocean region of 2018. Protests, meanwhile, continued in at least a dozen U.S. cities, with demonstrators peacefully gathering to shout George Floyd's name and to call for justice in the wake of his death at the hands of a now-jailed former police officer. Several cities re-established curfews on Tuesday night, including the Minneapolis, where Floyd died. New York City, Philadelphia and Washington, D.C. too. Curfew is expected to remain in place for a week at many places. The Minnesota Department of Human Rights has launched a civil rights investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department. The investigation will look into practices of the department for the last 10 years. So far, only one officer, Derek Chauvin, has been arrested and charged on Friday with 3 degrees of murder and manslaughter. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump announced deployment of thousands of heavily armed soldiers and law enforcement agencies to stop the violence in the United States Capitol. He also vowed to do the same in other cities if mayors and governors fail to regain control of the streets. Trump urged the mayors and the governors to establish law enforcement until violence is stopped. The post-mortem report of George Floyd declared a homicide. Meanwhile, Trump also made an impromptu visit to the church damaged by riot fires near White House. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. But remember to stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and we shall overcome. Bye for now.